Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. It's been a while since I've been on here. We're upstairs at level 7, the top deck in the Tintean Theatre here in Ballybunion, and absolutely overwhelmed and joyed, I suppose, to be joined here tonight by a man that's no stranger to quite an awful lot of people, but within the industry, I would have to say, and it's not a word that we can use lightly or throw around, but Dan McCabe must be a legend. Dan, welcome so much to Ballybunion.
Thank you so much, Trent. It's great to be back. Always a fun time here in the Tinton. We've had some amazing nights here, and tonight was another one.
Excellent. And you're okay with Dan? Yes, that not Daniel. Daniel, when you're in trouble, I imagine.
My mom and dad. When I'm in trouble for sure. Yeah, but Dan. Yeah.
Well, actually, I have a bone to pick with you, so you are slightly in trouble because.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you realise this, Dad, but I'm not much of a barman, and usually at the Tinton, I have a nice handy time handing out drinks.
Right.
Your fans are mad for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they really are. They like a good drink, but I suppose it comes with that style of music. It's it's. I suppose it would have been the social thing and the pub scene, so that the music was kind of bred in pubs and stuff, and so it's they go hand in hand, But yeah, they do like a good drink.
It's a great help to us in here in the bar. It gives us a good bit of a lift and a good push. Dan, tell us. I suppose we've seen the way the whole thing has evolved. I suppose since COVID. You know what I mean. And everybody knows the story from COVID on. Go back and tell us about the very start, where you grew up in Dublin and things like that.
So I actually grew up in Kildare. I'm from Kildare, but I suppose for me, it was always a progression of steps. It was what I always wanted to do. I never had lessons, and come from a quite poor area, so I couldn't afford lessons. I couldn't even afford a guitar, and I remember I was always the guy in school tapping the tables and humming and whistling and stuff. And the guy sitting next to me, I remember one day he just turned to me and he said, "Will you ever just shut up?" He said, "Have you not got an instrument at home or something?" And I said, "No." So he actually was kind enough to give me an old guitar that was warped, big warped body on it, and he used to cut the fingers off me to play it. But I'd sit there and like my dad is a musician as well, so I'd go to his gigs at the weekend and I'd look at his finger shapes, and I'd bring a shape home and I'd practice that for the week, and then I'd go, if I was lucky enough to go to another one. So kind of taught myself bits and pieces how to play, and then I suppose it was kind of like learn how to play a song, learn how to play a few songs, learn how to play enough songs to do a gig, And then once, like, that took time, obviously. One might have taken me a couple of years to get to that point. And then it was a case of actually going out and getting a gig. I remember kind of waiting around for something to happen, and I had a sudden realization one day, like, no one is coming to do this for you.
No one's coming to find you.
Yeah, you have to go and do it yourself. So I actually went out, and the nearest pub to me, I know the proprietor, and I just asked her. I said, "Look," I said, so she would have known my dad as well. My dad would have played in the pub. I said, "I'm looking for a gig. Would you be interested in having me?" And she said, "Okay, I'll give you a gig on this date." And I thought, Jesus, I'm on a roll here, you know what I mean? So I went across the road to the pub across the road, and I said, "Looking for a gig?" And they said, "Yeah, it's on this date," which was on the same date as the other one. But I would have preferred to have been in this pub because all of my friends drank there, and that kind of way. So I went back across the road, and I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "I actually have a gig on this on this date." And the woman says, "You just told me you never had a gig in your life. Like, what's this all about?" So I'm very sorry. I started off double booked, and it's been I continued the same kind of chaos since. But that's just how it grew. And then I suppose I went from one gig to getting 2 gigs, 3 gigs a week, and eventually by the time COVID came around, I was doing about 5 gigs a week. 5 or 6 gigs a week between Temple Bar and Kilkenny, and yeah, that's how I get into it. That's where I cut my teeth in pubs, and obviously COVID happened, and then the videos started going out, and I was very, very lucky. I found the right people. I think that was vital. It's a very, very easy industry to be taken advantage of and to be exploited, but I found people that I could trust. and people that were doing what they were doing at a very, very high standard. And I approached them, and I told them, like, I'm a bit overwhelmed here by what's happening. I said, I need someone to help me. So thankfully, they were able to take me from my bedroom and surround me with really talented people and just put me on stages and set me up. So really, really grateful for my management. Trad Nua, 10 Central is the name of the company, but Trad Nua is my label, and Darren is my manager, and Eamon is another one, my manager, Eamon DeBarra. He plays with Damien Dempsey. The two guys have just been so good to me, you know what I mean? And I really owe a lot to them. So
I think success is talent plus luck.
yeah.
You need a good helping of both.
Yeah, and you also need a lot of hard work,
Well,
Oh yeah.
It takes a lot of hard work as well. Like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard,
and the harder you work, the luckier you become.
100%. Yeah. I find my way of thinking is like when you put the blinkers on and you just go and you set your intentions, and it doesn't matter what opportunity it is that comes up, you just take it and you just go for it. That's when things start to come out of the peripheral, kind of,
You gotta knock on every door if you want to go through one.
Yeah. I suppose then, like you mentioned earlier on, that you grew up in a tough enough part of town. Like a lot of us did, and an awful lot of young people now idolize you and idolize your music. So what message would you have to those people that weren't born with a silver spoon,
I was always very aware that at a young age you have the potential to do anything. You have time and you have energy, and like I would tell my little brother and sisters, there's nothing that you can't do. If you want to be an astronaut, if you apply yourself, and you like at the age of 13, if you apply yourself to anything and truly apply yourself to and work hard at it, you can achieve it. Like, so you have and you have an infinite amount of potential at that age. What starts taking away from that potential is maybe drinking, doing drugs, getting in with the wrong crowd. That takes away from it. But if you just truly know what you want to do, go for it. I would say as well, a lot of people, there's a lot of pressure on teenagers coming up to their leaving certs that they need to know right now what they want to do with the rest of their lives. And that's a lot of pressure to put on kids. Dan, they are just kids at the end of the day, young adults, but they are kids. And like my stepmother is a teacher, and I remember she sat down with me to fill out a CAO. I know it was good advice in fairness, but it was the wrong advice for me. She told me, she's a musician herself, but she teaches as her main job. And she told me, like, pick something that you can fall back on, and pick a steady career, and it sounds like good advice, but I picked a college course that I had no interest in. I lasted 3 months in Carlow IT studying social studies and just had no interest in it. I knew that I wanted to do music, but she advised me to do something else. So my advice would be, at that age, don't put so much pressure on yourself to figure out the rest of your life. Like if you finish your leaving cert and take 3 to 4 years to do something that you really want to do, something that you're passionate about, take 3 to 4 years, and if it doesn't work out, you're still 21 and you can go back to college anyways, But don't burn the bridge. I needed to get a grant to go to college and all, you know what I mean? I couldn't afford it. So I needed a Susie grant, and that was my opportunity wasted. I couldn't afford to go back then, you know what I mean? And do something that I wanted. So that'd be my advice. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to figure it all out. Take your time to find something that you truly love. And when you can do that, I never work a day. There's never a day that I work. I love what I do, and it doesn't feel like work, you know what I mean? And I suppose the money became being able to make a living out of that is a byproduct of the love of it and the passion and the energy that you put into it. It was a relentless amount of energy, and it was effortless, if you know what I mean. I would sit at home and practice for 8 hours a day and it would feel like 5 minutes, and that was it. It was just the love of it. So if you can find something like that gives you a thrill, makes you want to spend your energy, try that. And if it doesn't work out, you can always fall back to something. But that'd be my advice.
But I think that's a big part of your success today. The money doesn't define you. It's about the love for the music and things like that. And then I know from the previous times that you've been here, in the Tintean with us. Like the songs tell a story, and I know that you're very passionate about mental health yourself. So like there's an awful lot of people really, really struggling and finding things really, really tough. And maybe just a word for those people that would be watching our podcast tonight.
I think there definitely was a massive amount of stigma about it. Like certainly in the last generation, like like in the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that. Like if you had mental health problems, you're a character as such. You know what I mean, or whatever. You know what I mean. It wasn't really taken seriously. You might be told to cop onto yourself. You know what I mean, and wise up like. But I think that this kind of generation are kind of more conscious of the fact that like this actually is a serious thing. It is an illness. Like I've been brought to hospital in the back of ambulances thinking that I'm going to die from having panic attacks and stuff like, and that is the worst feeling in the world. Like I think that my lungs were going to collapse, or that like I was going to have a heart attack, and like I had to medicate myself for a while. Like the doctor gave me Xanax and stuff like this, and that helped me a lot. But the side effects I didn't really like and made me feel groggy. But one thing I'll say is like for people to think like people will judge me or to feel that kind of embarrassment or something, like it's important to talk. I've lost 6 of my friends to suicide in the last 5 years, and I wish to God that they would have just said something to me. You know what I mean? We could have had a chat. But I think a lot of people, if they feel like that, there really is like they've kind of made their decision, and I kind of have to make my own peace with it as well, and say like if this is how bad you were feeling, and I hope that eases your pain, but it's never the answer. You leave behind so much grief for families and friends, and there is good services out there. There's probably not adequate to the challenge that to the amount of mental health issues that there is in Ireland. But one thing I will say that directly will help is exercise, eating well. If you are taking drugs and stuff like that and drinking a lot, that doesn't do you any favors. Like exercise, even if it's getting out for a jog, and if it's not a jog or walk or getting out into nature, just if you spend too much time, like when I'm not touring, like I don't do anything outside of this. I have a daughter, and like she entertains me. But if I don't have my daughter with me and I'm sitting around doing nothing on my time off, I find that like my mind just goes to, you know what I mean? It's like your mind goes somewhere. You need to keep yourself occupied. Like exercise is like the number one cure for depression and anxiety. Like anxiety is unreleased energy inside you. You know what I mean? So if you spend that energy, you're not going to feel that kind of anxious, and you'll just feel good about yourself. You know what I mean? It really helped me. I done a lot of cold water kind of therapy, or whatever you want to call it. But I'd go out to nature, and there's some beautiful places in Kildare where you can just go. It's out in nature, and like especially this time of year, it's freezing cold. And you get into the water, and you could have a bad day. It could be so much things going on, but once you get into that water, the only thing you're thinking about is like, I need to breathe. You know what I mean? And you get out and you feel refreshed. You feel like you've accomplished something. So, just for anyone that is going through a tough time, like you just reach out to people. Like people do care. Like, and the last thing anybody wants is to be at your funeral or to see you struggling or see you suffering. And it's a horrible feeling to not feel comfortable in your own skin. But exercise, I would say, watch what you're eating, watch what you're putting into your body, but definitely exercise. Like if you go into the gym, even if you only do just something light, you'll come out and you feel good. And if you can kind of get to do that, it will help you a lot. But I think it's stacked up against kids. They're growing up in a generation now where they're constantly comparing each other to themselves, and it's all a very false thing.
Everything's online.
Yeah, it's all a very false thing. You're seeing the most you're seeing a very altered split second. Like you see these young girls, and they might take 1,000 photos, and they'll pick the best one, and then they'll edit it. It's like it's not real. Like, and all these kids are comparing themselves to that. Like, it's like that's no way to live. Like, so yeah, my heart goes out to them, but definitely just just exercise, look after yourself, and yeah.
I think what you're saying there as well about, being willing to talk to people is a huge thing as well. Because I'd say a lot of people feel like they don't want to burden people. I think how much bigger is the burden of having to plan a funeral and having to plan a life without you.
Well, this is it. So this is it. Like I'd much rather hear your problems than hear your eulogy. Honestly,
That's great. Tell us a bit about Dan behind the curtain, I suppose, or behind the scenes. So, like, you're down in the green room, and there is like I suppose here tonight 600
without a
people
towel.
or what without a towel, whatever it is, waiting for you to come out. Like, how are you before that? Like, are you very nervous? Does it get to you? You know, you spoke about the palpitations earlier on. Like, how are you prepared for that? And
You know, I used to really, really struggle about it. Especially on my first tour, like I literally just come out of my bedroom, and then I was playing the likes of the Olympia and like the likes of the INEC and stuff like this. So like that was so scary, and like at that time in my life, it was really badly anxious. Thankfully, like it's subsided to an extent. I still do get the odd flutter of it, like, but I've developed techniques and stuff. And like I said, if worst case scenario, I do have medication that's been prescribed by my doctor, but I don't like to take it. But before the gigs, now I'm kind of just chill. I have a great team around me. I'm in very safe hands, and I know that when I'm with them lads, like they're my pillar of like confidence. I know that when I'm with them, I feel safe, I feel secure. But there is definitely like you need that spark, you need that edge, you need that bit of nervous excitement, because if you didn't have that, it'd be so boring. You know, it would be so boring. It would be like this again. You know what I mean? So
That's the energy you like.
it's a healthy energy to have. It can be quite uncomfortable at times, but it's a very healthy to have. And you harness that energy. And then, but once you get on the stage and you start singing and you see that the audience are loving it, it's great. Like what I used to have to do in the early days, I carried a check around from President Higgins. Like I went up and I performed, and he had to pay me. I didn't want to be paid, like, you know what I mean, but it was just procedure. But I would bring that check with me, and if ever I felt really nervous, I'd take that check out and I'd look at it and say, well, if I was good enough to play for the president, you know, surely I can go out and play for these people. Well, little things like that. Like I have little kind of routines and stuff that I'll do before a gig, like a shower. Like, thanks very much for the towel earlier on, by the way, meant a lot. Um, so it's little things that you do. Like I'll get a shower, I'll iron my clothes, I'll get dressed, I'll sit, I'll breathe, like breathing techniques. I'll do that for about 10-15 minutes, and then I pray. Like I pray for my brother that I lost, and he gives you great strength. I bring rosary beads and stuff with me, and that gives me great kind of faith that, like, you know, I'm not alone up here, and you know. Yeah, there's a great calm in the green room with them lads. You know, these lads are seasoned professionals. They've done it all. Like Alan Doherty there, like the whistle player, like he's the guy that done the theme tune for the Lord of the Rings. You know, with Hans Zimmer. You know, at the age of 16, like Conal Early is one of the best like folk musicians in the country. Alan is arguably one of the best flute players in the world. And myself and Kyle kind of started this together. And Kyle is just, he could play anything. Like, so when you know you're in, so they're so calm that it makes me calm, if you know what I mean. So, but I used to have to drink a lot, and that wasn't ideal. Like like this is work for me. So going on the stage drunk and getting home from work drunk, it wasn't ideal. But gladly I can have like a pint after the gig now, as opposed to before. But yeah, no, there's a great sense of calmness within the team. Like these guys do this, you know, in their sleep as such. So
and I think like there's an awful lot of weight on your shoulders now, because you are a role model to so many people, you know, and there's you know, there's expectation for you to deliver in a certain way as well, you know, so there's a huge responsibility there and that.
yeah, like for me, this is folk music, you know, and my role here, I have two roles. It's storytelling, yeah, and you need to be true to the songs. You need to honor the songs, and I take it really, really seriously. Like I put all of my feeling into it. Like, and if you don't do that, it's it's hollow, you know. So my job is to like tell the story of the song, and I really do get emotional when I'm singing the songs. Like, you know, you have to, like, like, it starts here, and I project it through my voice, and I'm hoping that the vibration of my voice will hit you, and you'll feel the same feeling that I have here. So that's one job. But like the folk musician side of it is that you're taking these songs, I would have heard these songs from my dad, and then I took them, and now it's great to see like kids in the audience there. You know what I mean? It's to pass it on to the next generation. So just do it authentically, and do it um do it in a way that's meaningful, you know, and put meaning behind the songs, like, and I believe I'm doing it. Like, you know, it's great to see, like honest to God, it gives me such a feeling of fulfillment to see that there's kids in the audience. This music means so much to me and so much to everyone in the country, and we're keeping it alive in that sense. You know what I mean? So that's where I get great fulfillment. In terms of a role model, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I'm not sure how to feel about that. Um,
Well, I think it is great. Like you were saying, you're talking about having that anxiety, and like you still go out on stage, which is a massive thing for you know, a lot of people couldn't imagine going on stage and with that anxiety alone.
Yeah.
So I think just talking about these things and being open is great for people. The A lot of people who feel anxious or have these kind of problems, they think they need to be a certain way, they need to be able to carry themselves and say, well, and hide that part of them. But they see you go on stage, do the thing you love,
Yeah.
and put yourself into it,
Yeah.
and admit that you are anxious outside of that, and that's something you're bringing with you as opposed to hiding away.
Honesty is the best policy, you know, and remove the stigma from it. Like, it's like, this is just I think it's like 2 in 5 people will deal with mental health issues in their life. Like, that's just a sad it's reality of life. So remove the stigma from it. Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not your fault that you feel anxious. Like, it's just like life has had its way, and for some reason you feel this. But you know, there's no stigma attached to it for me. I've never made a secret of it, that I suffered from, because I was genuinely worried. I remember when I was younger, when I was a teenager, and I started to feel really anxious. I actually thought that I was terminally ill. Like, I'm not, no joke. I thought I was terminally ill. I thought I probably had cancer or something. Like, you know what I mean? Because I was getting these feelings that were just horrible. Like, and like, I was so afraid to face it, first of all, because I was very scared. I was going to be told, like, you're ill, like you're probably going to die. Like, and I remember I was on the way to a gig in Dublin, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I genuinely, like, my hands, do you know, pins and needles that you get in your hands, it was so severe that my hands, like, clenched up like this. And I thought it was a heart attack that was coming on, because that's, like, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was rushed into St. James's Hospital, and the doctor just said, "You're having a massive panic attack." They said, this is such a normal thing. It's so common. So, like, you've nothing to worry about. Because, like, I came in frantic saying, like, I think I'm hard, like, you know. And they said, "You're having a panic attack. Like, we see this every day." And it was funny enough, like, literally in the same triage room, there was a young lad the same age as me having the exact same thing. And then I kind of realized, I was like, you know, I'm not alone in this. And it was kind of putting a label on it, and diagnosing what it was. So, um, yeah, it happens to so many people. I think just there shouldn't be any stigma attached to it. Like, there's no shame in it. Like, I know as men, we want to be, you know, in control of ourselves, and to come across as being, like, you know, macho and all the kind of crack. But these things happen, you know.
It's great. It's great that you can speak so openly about it. I suppose one of the big things we've learned tonight anyway is that Dan McCabe irons his own shirt.
This is true.
Yeah, it's a big one now, like.
Yeah, we'll have to mention that now to Nathan Carter. But
I do. So, you know what? It's just therapeutic. It's just, it just takes your mind off anything else. To, like, you know, time to worry. You're just, like, trying to get a crease out of your jumper.
I wouldn't be great at it myself now.
And for now, I'm not great at it either. Like, but it's like, it's that routine. Like, yeah, like, it's like, I'll iron my clothes, I'll get my shower, I'll get dressed, and I'll take 10 minutes just to breathe. I'll pray, and then that's it. I'm ready. It's like, I'm not, I haven't given myself time to sit around and worry about what could go wrong. Like, you know what I mean? You fill your time, like, so you just need to keep yourself occupied. So that's my little mantra. I used to have 2 pints of Guinness while I was doing that, but I don't do that anymore because it's unprofessional. And my manager was like, "Can't be doing
Oh,
that."
yeah, well, look, you're bringing, like, I suppose we've seen the progression in the last couple of times that you've been here, you know. And I remember the first night that you were here, like, you told everybody that you were an absolute nervous wreck. Like, you told them, you know, and like, we didn't see that through your performance, to be honest about it, like, you know. But you were really, really honest with them. But so outside of them things, like on the day off, like on the time off, like, is there a hobby, or like what do we not know about then? Like,
But I've got a little girl, you know. I've got a 7-year-old child, so I spend as much time with her as I can. Like, myself and her mum are together, so, like, I love to just see her and spend time with her. So, any chance I get, that's what I do. Like if I'm not gigging as well, like we do a lot of rehearsals. We record a lot of music. So like it's not just gigs. There's other things as well. But days off, like what you're talking about, like I like going, and like I said, I like going down into nature and swimming. And big into the saunas and cold plunges and stuff like that. I'm not mad into the gym. I'm quite lazy in that sense. But I like to go saunas, steam rooms to help the voice kind of recover. And you know, yeah, and the cold water is great. So I'm either doing that or else spending time with the little girl. And when I'm with her, she's the boss. So we just do whatever. You know, it could be a swim, could be anything. So it's just stuff like that. You know, she calls the shots. And
Well, I imagine the gigging is full on. Anyway, like you're heading back tonight, straight back. Like you're on the road a lot. There's a lot of going. So when you get the chance to chill, it's nice to.
yeah, 100%. Like I don't know, when you get a day off, you just want to chill out. But like it's been a particularly busy week. This is the 5th gig I've done this week. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to just doing nothing tomorrow.
Yeah, we're not going to hold you much longer, but there was one young lad there from Ballyduff earlier on, and he had loads of questions for Dan McCabe, and I said I'll ask him because we'll be chatting to him afterwards, so he's going to be watching this podcast, and he wanted to know if Dan drove or did not drive.
I don't drive. I don't drive on account of when I used to get panic attacks. I'd be afraid I'd be driving down the motorway and I'd have a panic attack, and like, God forbid, I'd be whatever I do to myself, but God forbid someone else if I lost control of the car. So, but I have recently applied for my provisional license.
We'll be watching this space.
Yeah, let us know when you're on the road.
Very good. Yeah, very good, very good. Now, Dan, I suppose we know that you're trying to head off back up the road.
Yeah.
As our own crew here, Dermot and Jack and myself and all the team, we're delighted that you took the time out tonight to come up and have a few words with us. It means a huge amount, and as always, it's a pleasure to just sit down and have a chat. It's like being around the fire at home with you. It just comes so naturally, isn't it? Yeah. So here at the Tintean, we're delighted to have you, and I'm sure that we'll be having you back again in the near future.
I will be back as soon as possible. I it's. I think this is our third time here. Third time, right? Yeah. So like this will be a mainstay for us. We'll be here every year for as long as people will come and see us. You know, and that's okay. Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the one and only Dan McCabe. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you very much, lads. Sound. Thank you.